I know we're all familiar with the saying that sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And that can hold true, absolutely. Better to have good timing, be fortunate, get some lucky breaks, or just have breaks happen in your favor in general. That's not a crazy thing to say. But when you look at that statement, better to be lucky than good, it indicates sometimes that you could be one or the other, or have to be one or the other. They are not mutually exclusive. You can be both. And for the Chicago Bulls last night, it was an example of being lucky and fortunate in timing and very good as well. Because the Pelicans came into this game without their franchise player, Zion Williamson. He was out due to injury. So you're talking about facing a team in your home opener, and you're getting to face them. They still have Brandon Ingram, obviously, but they don't have Zion Williamson. So no Zoe. It's going to be a rough go for the Pelicans. Meanwhile, the Bulls, full strength, taking on another team without its top option, just like in the first game against the Pistons where they didn't have Cade Cunningham. Sometimes it's better to be fortunate in your timing than good, yes, but thankfully for the Bulls, they were also very good on Saturday night. Like, the way they played the other night in the opener, you watched them and you said, oh, Wednesday night, yeah, they won, and that's what a good team does when they're not playing well, but Detroit could have beaten them and maybe make an argument that Detroit should have beaten them. You had none of those concerns here, none of those arguments here, because this was a much, much better performance, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And it all started off for the Bulls in the first quarter. 28 points in the first. Javonte Green, when he came off the bench, provided some big impact, energy, and some plays off the bench. Talking about those dunks that he had. Didn't he have like 3 or 4 dunks in the game? Like, he didn't play but like 17 minutes, but he made a difference. You could feel Javonte Green's impact on the game. And excited to see what type of bench role he can fill the rest of the year because this team needs more bench scoring, and they got a little bit more of it on Friday night. DeMar DeRozan got off to a good start in the first quarter, and this team needed it. So you didn't have Zach LaVine really do much of anything in the first quarter. No points, no real impact. Hard to even notice that he was really on the floor, frankly. But defensively, again, this team was really, really good on the perimeter. Only gave up 17 in the first. So already talking about a double-digit lead after one quarter. And the second quarter was more of the same. Like, the Bulls team was clearly the better team on the floor throughout the entire game. Like, that's what impressed me as much as anything about this team's performance on Friday night was that in the first quarter, they were clearly the better team. The second quarter, they were. The third quarter, they were. The fourth quarter, they were. Like, they just kept pouring it on the Pelicans all night long. But what happened in the second quarter that was significant was when you look at Zach LaVine, the first 18 minutes of this game, he didn't have a single damn point. It just looked like he was kind of there. Blink and you miss him. You didn't really notice him. And then Zach LaVine does what Zach LaVine can be prone to do, which, when it happens, can truly be something special to watch. This guy can put up 20 points in a hurry. Like, blink and you missed it. You know, Stacey King referenced during the game, he was hitting a couple of damn threes from Rockford. Holy shit. So LaVine goes 18 minutes without scoring a single damn point, yet by halftime, he's got 20. And the quickness with which they came and the ease with which they came, like, that's when Zach LaVine is special. And he was special in that second quarter for sure. In terms of other key performers, Alize Johnson, you know, second straight game, you saw some good energy off of the bench for him. You know, I heard the comparisons to like a Dennis Rodman type of role. Let's not get too carried away here. But they need a versatile big coming off of the bench that can be a spark plug, provide some defense, provide some rebounding, be a bit of a paint presence. And Johnson showed again that he could do that on Friday night. And it all kind of culminated, especially once Zach started going off and warming up and heating up and getting on fire in the second quarter. You turn around, the Bulls are up 65-47 at the half. Like, this was impressive stuff. This was a significantly better first half performance than we saw Wednesday night against the Pistons. Again, granted, being fortunate that they get to face the Pelicans without Zion Williamson, but frankly, even if Zion played in this game, do you really think the Pelicans were going to win this? I don't think so. And that second half was just more of the same. The Bulls just had too much on all different levels. They had too much ability to score. You know, DeRozan finished the game with 26, so even better performance in game two. LaVine with the 32, sparked largely by that 20 that he scored in the last half of the second quarter. So two of your big three had a really, really good game. It was another off game for Vucevic, which you're only 2 games into the season, so it's not that concerning right now, but something to keep an eye on. He was 4 of 11 from the field for 10 points. He was getting eaten up a little bit by Valanciunas and others on the Pelicans, especially down low. He was getting exposed a little bit in the pick and roll defense, which is going to happen. But he wasn't the only one that had a brief moment here and there with some struggles in the pick and roll defense. Patrick Williams had a couple of moments like that. Lonzo Ball, though, with the triple-double, again, just everything you could have asked for bringing him in. For the Bulls fans that wanted Ben Simmons, why? You get Lonzo Ball at a much lower price, does many of those similar things, can actually shoot at least a little bit, enough to have to keep defenses honest where he can sometimes hit the open three. Like, why in the hell would anybody have wanted Ben Simmons instead? You see what's happening in Philadelphia. That is a reflection of Ben Simmons all the damn way. Lonzo Ball's come in and been pretty quiet, and he's doing a good job of helping to facilitate the offense, playing fantastic defense right now, just really, really great defense. And here, showing his ability to impact the game in multiple facets, which is something that was severely lacking for this Bulls team the last year and, frankly, in recent years. Alex Caruso and Javonte Green produced some big energy, like I mentioned, off the bench again. You even had Alex Caruso getting some MVP chance during the game. Let's make it too serious here. But you could see where these two guys could potentially develop into fan favorites because they bring energy in big, big ways. Alex Caruso can impact the game in a variety of ways, not just with his man-on-man defense, but his ability to rotate, play the passing lanes, his hustle, his energy. And then you look even offensively. He's a guy that can be a secondary facilitator. He's a guy that can slash to the hoop. He's a guy that can shoot a little bit. You could certainly understand after watching him for a couple of games in the Bulls lineup and with the way he fits, you could understand why Lakers fans and some of the Lakers players, including LeBron, were probably really sad and disappointed that Alex Caruso's not there anymore. Because you see, this is a guy that you look at and you say, this is the type of guy that's a key contributor on a championship-level team. I'm not here to say the Chicago Bulls are a championship-level team. We have not seen enough of them yet to say that, and I think they still have some gaps that they're going to have to plug in order to get to that level. But that said, as your sixth man, there aren't too many better in the league than Alex Caruso, especially for the way that he can impact the game all around. So the Bulls end up winning this game in massive fashion, like 128 to 112. And frankly, the final score is a misleading indication of how this game flowed because at one point in time, even the Bulls were up by 30. It was a great game for the Bulls. Like, if you were looking for a reason to be excited about this Bulls team, for all of the hype to actually mean something, you look at this performance against the Pelicans in the home opener at the United Center and you say, damn, this team's no bullshit. This team is legit. Let's be clear, through 2 games, they look to be legit. They look to be no bullshit. Now, that said, you look at this early schedule, they didn't have to face Cade Cunningham on Wednesday night. They didn't have to face Zion Williamson here. I believe 10 of their next 11 games are against playoff teams. I think they referenced this during the broadcast. And the one team that wasn't a playoff team is the freaking Golden State Warriors. So the schedule is going to get tougher pretty quickly here. But what I also like about where the Bulls are positioned right now, they're 2-0, and they've won 2 games in 2 different ways. The first game they won based off of their defense, honestly, and LaVine having to take over in the second half. In this game, they won much more with their energy and their offensive efficiency than they did their defense. Although their defense was good, obviously. I'm not trying to take away from that. But what I like is the versatility of this team is their ability to win games in different fashions and different ways depending upon the way the night goes. And what's also nice about this is you look at this performance the first 2 games, you look at this performance on Friday night, and you say Vucevic still hasn't gotten going. There's a second straight game that he was kind of, So what happens if he starts having some good games? And DeRozan can, and LaVine can. Like, we haven't seen the best of what this Bulls team can be right now. Now, I am a little concerned. I brought it up in the first game. I'll bring it up again in the second game. I know Patrick Williams had like 8 points, but did you feel his presence at all? The only time you really seemed to notice him in this game, like, he had a couple of nice shots. Yes, he did. But man, oh man, he has a tendency to just kind of blend into the background and just be there. You saw him miss a couple of defensive assignments. I worry about him as this season goes along. As you look at the first 2 games, you really have not felt his impact. And that is not the type of production or performance you want to get out of a guy that you took 4th overall last year. I understand you're in a situation where you're not looking to him to be a 20-point per game plus scorer right now. Absolutely not. He may never be in his career, let alone here in Chicago in this roster, in this role on this team. But you want to feel his presence. You shouldn't have to be looking around to see, well, where the hell is Patrick Williams? He just kind of blends in. You know what I mean? Like, when you watch this game on Friday night, you could feel an Alex Caruso's presence. You could feel a Javonte Green's presence. You could feel Lonzo Ball's presence, even though he wasn't scoring 25 or 30, because he was impacting the game in a variety of ways. You didn't feel that same way with Patrick Williams. Again, I'm not trying to pick on the young man. He's still a very young man at that. This is more so me talking about the concern that I have that the Bulls ultimately as a team are only going to go as far as Patrick Williams' development goes. And what I've seen the first 2 games is a little concerning to me. With all that said, if you're a Bulls fan right now, you got to feel pretty good about stuff. This team is 2-0, won in 2 different ways, and they looked a lot better on Friday night than they did Wednesday night. So bring on the rest of the league, bitches! Bulls Nation is ready!